Once, there was a gopher whose situation was very bad. He was a cute little gopher with black little eyes, well-set ears, strong hands, and long, curving teeth. Altogether, he was a beautiful gopher in the prime of his life. His home was a thicket of mallow weeds, a perfect place. As he dug deeper into the soil, he found it even more perfect. It was a place he could raise any number of families. This setting is representative of an ideal place to live, under perfect conditions. The burrow is the quintessence of perfection. With its great chamber, 4 emergency exits, and large expansive tunnel systems with side chambers for babies, it was the most wonderful location to live. It was a stunning morning when he first peeked his head out of the burrow. The sun shone into his hole comfortably, and the gopher was content. The gopher then began to store food in his beautiful burrow. Only the most perfect mallow stems were accepted. Unfortunately, there were no females around for the gopher to share his beautiful burrow and plethora of food with. Now, the location of the burrow was perfect as well, with no gardens, traps, or arbitrary dress code enforcements for the gopher to worry about.
Hey, where's your lanyard? Where's your lanyard?
However, as time wore on, the gopher began to feel very worried. There were absolutely no females around for him to reproduce with. How could he possibly raise a family with no females around? Eventually, the loneliness got worse and worse.
Hey, get out, get out, get out!
The gopher was very lonely. When he wasn't dreaming of entering females' holes, he was outside his own hole, making penetrating squeaks that could be heard by females deep in the moist earth. And to that extent. But as time grew on, the gopher began to get very sad. His squeaking here represents his craving for love, whereas the absence of females metaphorically represents a lack of love in the seemingly perfect environment. And so the gopher embarked on a quest across the train tracks to find another gopher hole. This journey symbolically represents one's quest to find love. As the gopher approached the hole that he'd been craving for so long, he mustered up the most sexually provocative squeak he could. He smelled the female and began to get excited. Unfortunately, a ripped gopher came up and beat the living thing. He crawled back into his lonely hole, where he laid for 3 days, actually using the tissues for their true intended purpose. When no female came, he had to move 2 blocks up the hill to a dahlia garden. Unfortunately for the gopher, the hill that he trekked on was an undisturbed minefield from the days of the Second World War. So what happened to the gopher? Oh, he made it to the dahlia garden, where he currently rests, 6 feet under. The moral of the story is twofold. Don't be a lonely gopher, and wear your prep lanyard.